And as the Disney block rolls on, we are going into a Super Boss Gauntlet Rush run of Kingdom Hearts 1.5 plus 2.5 collection by IBAAllday. Take it away.
How's it going, everyone? It's IBA all day. Um, Got to show off a rendition last year for Running for Reels. It wasn't quite the full magnitude that we're going to be doing today. We've been able to work Birth by Sleep into the mix, as that did take me a little bit of time to get fully going into a speedrun-esque type setting. We're going to be facing off against 26, that's right, 26 straight super bosses. And this idea kind of came to me after seeing something that Biscuit047 did a long while back. Just kind of something that he did for fun with like level 1 runs. And I wanted to see kind of what I could do to take it to a whole new level as far as getting some solid runs put together. And I think we've come up with some pretty good stuff all around. I can turn myself up a little bit here. One sec. There we go. Hopefully that's better. But yeah, so took an idea off that, kind of ran with it, and hopefully at some point we'll have the entire collection of super bosses. And the big reason this is kind of a big thing for me is it's a very unique run. We don't really get to see super bosses outside of extended categories, so anytime there's any percent runs, we don't ever see those unless there's incentives, and typically it just ends up being Sephiroth or Lingering Will for most of the time. So we get to kind of take a look at everything else here. So we're playing against Terra. Terra has the strongest strength stats. It is still tough because Terra doesn't get the luxury of being able to have dodge roll capabilities that Fences and Aqua do. So, albeit we are very strong with Terra, it's still very tricky to navigate certain attacks, but hopefully we'll do a good job here. Our time will start as soon as we skip the cutscene here. I have it set up this way just because it's just an easier way for me to kind of monitor my own splits, but we'll get things underway here with Mysterious Figure in 3, 2, 1. So we're going to be utilizing an attack for this first fight called Thunder Surge. Thunder Surge is a very strong physical attack. You don't want to be doing any actual physical attacks on Mysterious Figure, as they basically don't do any type of damage to them. And we are playing on critical mode, by the way, so everything hurts like crazy, as you can see. So we're gonna be mostly in critical HP situations, probably most of the time, depending on certain attacks here. But we need to have him kind of work with us here a little bit. Unfortunately, not a great start. He's got a number of attacks that can honestly bypass Second Chance once more. That attack that he did there is one of them, fortunately. This little attack with his whip that he does is very annoying because you can't damage him when he goes up with it, and you can't damage him when he comes down for a little bit, so he is immune to any attack there for a moment. The little whirlwind attack that you see along the ground is very deadly. Not only does it do a lot of damage to you, but it also knocks out all of your commands that you have to retrieve, otherwise you are commandless. So if you have anything like Kira or anything like that, you can't use those until you manage to pick those back up off the ground. But we're basically going to be trying to blitz them as much as possible. That's what we wanted. We wanted Kira just to be safe here. We do also have a lock on called, I believe it's called Recover block. So basically anytime oh, that's not good. There's probably gonna be a death here, unfortunately. Yep. So clones, we love them, we hate them. They are problem. Clones can stun lock you into oblivion. They can also immediately kill you because they will immediately bypass second chance once more, which would normally allow us to survive an onslaught or an attack entirely on its own. Hence why this is also a really tough run. And this is also why DPS is my first portion of the fight, because it is such a tough sequence. And also the wind attack as well, we cannot guard, so we must dodge out of the way. There we go. We want this kind of attack, it's good. Every time our counter hammer at a good time here, we can get some damage in off of it. I want him to turn invisible, but he's not doing it. So once we get usually down to about 2 bars, he will typically turn invis. Unfortunately, he did not, and just decided to continue casting meteors the entire time. Big time bummer, but it's alright. We will get through this, and we will put on an awesome showcase. Yeah, I didn't beat this boss until, honestly, I got to PS4 and PS5. I tried to do it on PSP, and there was no way for me to survive, and I just gave up on it. Fine. That's not fine. The little dashing attack that he does there is extremely dangerous, because depending on when he decides to come back and hit you, it can delay the second chance once more dynamic just enough to where it will kill you. Fortunately, I kind of lost track of where he's at, but it's fine. So when he's in Viz, we cannot target lock. So we have to be able to keep track of him manually. Man. Alright, it's fine. It's just, we're at the mercy of RNG at times. Which, again, is what makes BPS super difficult. Mysterious Figure has so many attacks in the second phase where if he wants you dead, he will have you dead. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. If we can get lucky enough, honestly, we can make ourselves into a command style called Rhythm Mixer, which is one of the strongest styles in the game. Albeit it is very risky to use in general, because Mysterious Figure can also guard and get HP back as well, unfortunately. So doing that as the ultimate attack on the Rhythm Mixer can pretty much almost full heal. Apologize if I go quiet here for a moment. We're gonna try and get something going. Oh, we're dead. Yep. We are most definitely dead. So the other drawback, unfortunately, form changes also immediately deactivate second chance once more. So if you're already at 1 HP and you manage to land on the ground and you're at that stage where you will form change, it will kill you. Okay. That's not okay. That's really not okay. Okay. Thankfully, he didn't do anything drastic there. I can't get away. If he knocks me into the air, we're dead. I'm gonna take a gamble here because it paid off, thankfully. So the Thunder Surge will immediately get rid of all the clones, but you have to time it. If you try to go too early when he does decide to do clones, you will die. Because the clones won't get, the clones just won't take any damage and they'll stay on the field, unfortunately. So thankfully we're still able to take another hit there, so I just kind of called healing, just to kind of get my commands back faster. The beauty of that somehow we got lucky. I don't know how the X attack managed to circle around that much, but it's okay. Oh, I forgot to. That's okay. That is Mysterious Figure. So again, the nice thing with him being invis is he is very unlikely to block. So that's kind of the biggest time to try and take the most advantage of using Thunder Surges. And if you can get the Mixer Finisher, even better, because then if you can corner him, you can really get some damage off. So next up is Vanitas Remnants. You're going to notice right off the bat, he only has 1 bar of health. However, he does have a lot of defense, and is also
There's no escape.
extremely heavy on the attack side. 1, 2, so we're gonna dodge 7 attacks here, 4, 5, again, 6, 7.
See ya.
And the reason with Terra that I said this is so hard is because of the fact that Terra can't just simply dodge roll through all the clones and just spam it. I have to actually time my dashes in order to avoid getting hit by any of the clones. And we also have to use Mega Potions in the event that I get hit, because if we have Cure for this fight, Vanitas will also, in fact, use Cure. We're getting our first look at using Rhythm Mixer here to try and punish him as much as we can. Again, it is a bit of RNG. If he's getting knocked into the air like this, it's RNG entirely. There's nothing we can do about that.
There's no escape. Show me anguish.
I'm dead. Ooh, okay.
Show me anguish.
This is fine. We've got to dodge again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and use his ultimate attack here. And we want to see him doing the spinning attack there because it's our biggest opportunity to be able to punish him. Because every time that Vanitas does the fake outs with getting knocked into the air, he does not take any lick of damage. You're also seeing me switch command decks here, so I have everything set up for the 4 bosses that we will be doing in the BBS section, each utilizing a different certain deck based on the circumstances. This deck in particular is leaned more towards Rhythm Mixer, because we want to try and punish Armor Ericus and Armor Lord as much as we can. It's a bit of a high risk, but it's very high reward situation, plus Kiraga, for the most part, will come back relatively quick. We're going to really hopefully get our first look at just how much damage Rhythm Mixer does overall. And as you can see, about 2 bars of health there are just gone immediately. So something I've been working on here is intentionally getting captured by the chain. I've noticed that Armored Ericus in certain attacks is less likely to do certain guard attacks. Unfortunately, he's doing this chain attack, which is going to allow him to not take really any damage. So it was kind of a bummer that he did that move, but it's okay. We also need to get cured up because we are in the state of if he does a particular attack, then I will get killed. gonna do one more survey here. While he's doing his chains attack too, I can also deal some good damage here. But this rhythm mixer strat for Armored Ericus is something that I kind of came up with and played around with. Originally I was doing Thunder Surges, but noticed that honestly it was taking way too long to get to rhythm mixer. So I figured why not try to do Daisy Surveys and see what we can do. So now, with the first phase of this, we're going to pop our Daisy Surveys to get the Rhythm Mixer and get the finisher ready. But we're not going to use it on the mirror here. We're going to, in fact, go ahead and do Shot Lock and hope that all of the Shot Lock hits. If the opening Shot Lock doesn't hit all the way, we won't be able to advance past this first part. Even if you were to hit all excellent. The Shot Lock would do its own thing. And you'd be short on damage and have to do another quick shot log. So off the rip here, we are going to go to the left. Go ahead and pop it, because Armanort here is hopefully going to meet us over here. And it looks like he's being a pain in the butt here, so we probably didn't really get much damage on him. And we got about 1 bar. It's okay enough. Their other surveying pop. Go straight back into another one. And now we'll really start to see just the power of how strong Rhythm Mixer is. Clear up real quick. It'll also work. As long as he doesn't summon out his mirror, as I call it, the mirror, then we're gonna be big time chilling in here. This is a little sketchy because he's not taking much damage. That's gonna hurt. I don't know how we didn't take damage from that. Normally when he does that move, we take damage, and it's basically like Sephiroth ultimate attack. It puts you at 1 HP. It puts you at 1 HP, and also drains your shot lock. Fortunately, we're using a lot. I'm dead. So unfortunately, if he does that attack and gets you, you are stunned. And there's nothing you can do about it. It's basically his cheat way of making sure you don't get to win. And it's an unfortunate thing. Normally he does it in the early stages. Unfortunately, he decided that he was going to do it super late. And yeah, it's unfortunate. So hopefully take 2 is a lot better. Take 1 was going relatively well. He was still kind of trolling us with what he was doing, but that is the nature of BBS, where random RVs, with very random attack patterns, makes it a beauty. And naturally, when we were doing our tune-ups for the event, we weren't really having much trouble, but, you know, hey, it's an event, it happens. Hopefully this is off to a much better start here. Oh, that's unfortunate. I'm in a bad spot because I can't move. And he also has his mirror out now, so we can't do any kind of damage. when he goes into this form, I hate it the most because he's all over the place. Man, he is just being an extra today. Normally when I get him down to a certain HP value too, I just do shot lock. So like now, where he's at health-wise, we can go ahead and do a shot lock. Or we're not. That's unfortunate. My shot lock got stopped. I went to shoot the shot lock and it just did not come out. Yeah, he's being a real pain today. Unfortunately. And it's also unfortunately time consuming just because of how late the deaths are, but like I said, he does the sunlock attack where he comes straight down from the sky. And you get hit by it, there's nothing you can do about it. And unfortunately, it's just such a fast thing that it's really hard to catch on to it. But hopefully we got him this time. Yeah, between Venus Remnants and Arminard, those are honestly my two worst, just because of what they decide to do. If they decide to be pains in the butt, then it makes for a rather long day. Good damage. We were able to get away from it that time. I saw him actually go up into the sky thinking it was going to be like his ult, but it wasn't, so we were able to at least anticipate it there. Sir, I need you to stay over here. It's fine. Here, just because it's...
You're done. Take that. You're done.
Thankfully, he decided not to do the double DM there. Please hit. Please hit. So, my luck in the past, he has double DM'd during the shot lock. Thankfully, he did not. Oops. And what you saw me do there is just do a quick soft reset. That's part of the reason I have the order set up the way I do. Is between Birth by Sleep and one of them, at least on console, you can do a soft reset. Eventually, once I get stuff set up for PC save files, then I'll be able to do soft resets for 2FM as well. Thanks to some good old mods, but until then, that'll have to be how things are set up. So next up in our gauntlet here is going to be 1FM version of Sephiroth. You also saw that our magic is very, very loaded. We're one shy of the actual max that you can have in the game. And immediately we're going to dodge roll here on Sephiroth. We don't want that. We don't want that. We want Sephiroth staying here doing fire pillars the entire time like that, because then we can just arse him to death for the most part. And not have him be a lot more under our control here. this DM state here, and got the stagger. Hopefully he doesn't toy with my emotions. Hopefully he doesn't toy with my emotions. He toys with my emotions. So you have a chance to stagger Sephiroth when he does his power up there. And it doesn't mean that you're out of the woods for being able to DM skip him, which is this giant ball here that we saw him doing. He can still DM you even after an immediate teleport, and it's just his biggest way of trolling you. It's an unfortunate thing that can happen, but at least we got the start of being able to try and DM skip him, because it does save a boatload of time. His DM's not super dangerous, it takes up a lot of time. Next up is going to be Ice Titan here. We're going to be blocking pretty much all of his attacks for the most part, dodge rolling out of the way, and we're going to be utilizing gravity from afar. There's a quicker method to just go blitz with gravities, but I always find it to put me really out of position, so I just kind of don't do it that way, so I just do the reflect here until he gets knocked out. Do one full finisher, do a second one, and then we're just going to do a bunch of air hits to try and squeeze in as much damage as we can. Blitz him with thunders, and another gravity there to just top it off, and try and reflect as many of these icicles as we can. A really good first damage sequence, if you can see green coming out of that first recovery, once you get over to the side of the arena, then you're in really, really good shape. Because once you get down to the green state, the start of the green state, he does this giant ice AoE attack that can freeze you. But then immediately after, he'll shoot a bunch more icicles, which will allow us to get more damage in. You can use fires on him, because it is very effective, but you have to be really up close, and it's also just not really worth it. Fun note, you cannot use any style of arrow. If you do, Ice Titan has a built-in mechanic to where the icicles will become giant icicles, and you will not be able to deflect them. It's okay. I don't like where we're at exactly, but we'll make it work. The unfortunate thing with KH1 cameras is once you lock onto a target, you cannot change the camera angle at all. So you're kind of at the mercy of whatever the camera decides to throw at you. I think you agree here. There we go. Yeah. So the Aurora and Aroga will turn the icicles that he shoots into bigger versions that you cannot deflect back at him. It was a fun built-in mechanic because of the fact that Aroga does reflect just pretty much any projectile, so it was just kind of their way of making it where you can just auto-reflect every single projectile that was shot at you and be completely indestructible. So next up is good old Kurt Ziza. Hopefully we get to show off a beautiful one-cycle strat that saves so much time if we can nail it. Some of that will come down to a little bit of luck and help from our buddy Goofy here. So we'll have to see what happens. So obviously first we gotta break Kurt Ziza's hands here. We don't really do finishers, just because yes, the finishers do slightly extra damage, but it is slower to try and do finishers. Because it takes just that much longer before you can actually do anything. Fortunately Donald's dead, so this may be a bit interesting here. Come on, Goofy. Come on, Goofy. There we go. So Goofy Tornado in one of them is extremely dangerous as far as damage output goes, and is extremely useful for helping with the one cycle. Donald being dead was kind of unfortunate because Donald will typically cast Aroga on us. But yeah, that was the one cycle for Kurt Ziza. Next up is kind of our boring section of things. With Phantom, so a nice glorified version of Simon Says. So basically there are going to be 4 different styles of attacks we can do: physical, fire, blizzard, and thunder. We also need to stop this clock here because that clock, when it strikes 0, will automatically remove your party member. So the timer you see above Peter Pan there, when that hits 0, Peter Pan is permanently removed from the fight. No elixirs, magic, anything will save him. He's done. Gonzo, perma removed until we manage to finish the fight. It's also how we get our last stop, or our last bit of magic for stop, is beating Phantom. Phantom gives us our last upgrade to stop, coincidentally.
See ya.
And unfortunately, it is very random as far as what worlds he presents. Goofy is helpful for the physical stuff if it's back-to-back, just because it breaks him a lot quicker. So every 2 sequences of 3, Phantom here will go back to the clock tower and shoot his goop at you, which will do damage over time until it goes away. On lower levels, entirely for Sora, it can be especially deadly because there's no way to stop it, other than just to try and heal your way through things. But there will become a point in time where I will actually get Goofy and Peter Pan perma removed from the fight. And the reason for that, so when it comes down to the final hit on Phantom, since everything is in sequences of 3, if your party members end up being that final hit on that final sequence of 3, it won't be the kill. Instead what will happen is Phantom will just simply break, go back to the clock tower, and you have to do another sequence. Which unfortunately eats up a lot of time. Because of the animation for him to go back to the clock tower, to him coming back out, and presenting the orb that you need to continue on. This Mega Ether is kind of nice. I also have my items set up specifically, typically 1 for Sephiroth, 1 in case of emergency for Ice Titan, 1 for Kurt Ziza in case of emergency, no 1 cycle, 1 for Phantom if he's giving me a lot of magic, especially Thunder, since Thunder costs 1 MP bar every single time of usage. Whereas stuff like Blizzard and Fire, every little blip there of orange that you see would consume just that instead. Now that Goofy's removed from the fight here, I did it kind of a lot earlier than I would like, but just kind of make sure he's just out of the way. So we're going to go ahead and stop the clock there again. And you have to manually stop it every single time with the magic stop, which is also why we have an elixir save just in case we need to use it. Because it does consume 2 bars of MP every time you have to use stop. And then again, every single time that we have to actually do magic is brutal. Yeah, this fight, the best fight I've got for this fight is right at 5 minutes. And that's with having a few things go my way as far as like what he's throwing at me. Because what he also throws at you can also determine how quickly this fight goes. Like when you're having to cycle through a bunch of different magic, you can't really cast magic as quickly as you can attacks. Yeah, Phantom I have a 501 exact for this fight. Yeah, it's just a glorified Simon Says. It's not the most interesting fight, but if you're not careful, you can lose a lot of times just because it is such a consistent fight. But it's also a fight that you still have to stay on your toes for, as far as staying on top of things. Alright, so we got one more boss for the 1FM portion, which is going to be Unknown. The hidden super boss is special to the FM series. In English version, you would not get to fight, in the English version of KH1, you would not be able to see this entity. It's a special endgame boss that they brought into Final Mix. A very tough fight too. Even though we're level 100, we can still very easily die. Here, he also has a lockout mechanic attack that he can do similar to that of Terra, but it's even, honestly, it's scarier than Terra's, to be perfectly honest. And unfortunately, we're gonna see it right here. Because it not only does it drain Sora, but it also drains Donald and Goofy. We're just gonna go ahead and burn a Mega Elixir here, just to be safe. We also need him to kind of stay here with us. That's fine. We'll be coming upon his DM state here in just a moment, and during his DM state, which is happening right now, he goes in a counterclockwise motion. So we're gonna stay here, kind of keep him up against his post, so that when he comes out of his DM state, his next attack here that he does, like I said, is a counterclockwise motion, and allows for us to kind of pin him up against the wall and just wail on him with ours. And that's the fight. Yeah, Goofy and Donald's just like, yeah, la-di-da-di-da, violence, la-di-da-di-da. Alright, so, you think we're done with Sephiroth, right? Well, what if I were to tell you there's a part 2, but better? See, 1FM Sephiroth, we bullied. 2FM Sephiroth, nah. He's gonna get shredded bullied. We're gonna go into limit form here, do a full ground combo, and use special limit attack called Infinity. After we land on the ground here, we're gonna go ahead and reverse. Fortunately, Sephiroth didn't do what I wanted in there, but that's okay. So in 2FM, we get the luxury of having Reflect. Reflect is like the best form of magic in this game possible. We're going to do Reflect, Flash Out Reflect. Unfortunately, it wasn't how I was hoping. So when he powers up, he'll do one of two things. He'll do Orbs, and then do one of two things. He'll either do his Omni Slash type attack, or he'll do Fire Pillar. The attack that I'm looking for the most, because it will guarantee that I get out of the fight immediately after he powers up, is him doing Fire Pillar. Because then all we have to do is Reflect, Slapshot, Reflect, Slapshot, Reflect, Finisher, and that will eliminate the rest of the health that he has remaining. Next up is everybody's favorite, Lingering Will. We're going to be showing off the double neg strat here. So we're going to let Lingering Will do whatever kind of attack he's going to do here. He's going to do air slashes, that's fine. We're going to let him land, and we're just going to whop him. Just gonna go around in a circle, just doing one finisher over and over and over. There is a way to kind of speed it up a little bit with the finishers, as far as like timing it, but it is really risky because if you drop it at any point, Lingering Will here will recover, and then you gotta try and get him resituated here. There are a number of cheeses that you can do. There's a Berserk Ori strat, horizontal slash strat. It's a little more advanced than doing the double negative strat here. So the double negative combo strat, what that means is, the Keyblade that we're using right now is called Fenrir, which gives us an intrinsic perk called Negative Combo, and then we have another ability called Negative Combo. If we slap those on, and take off our air combo pluses or any of our combo plus modifiers, we go straight into just doing a simple finisher. With that strat, you are able to just stun lock, stagger, Lingering Will into oblivion. It's a very famous strat that's very well used, especially in a lot of randos. If you have the tools, because you can do it on a number of super bosses for the most part. But now we're going to be getting to the meaty stuff on our final stretch here, is Data Orb. So first up is Data Marluxia. We're going to lead off with a Thunder Blizzard Fire. We're going to pop a Mega Elixir, do a Reflect, slap out Reflect into it. Oh, never mind. Unfortunately, I got hit out of that, so that's fine. We'll just do an Aerial Strike here. Quickly get over. This may... Yeah, we're just gonna wipe it here to be safe. So, ideally, you're gonna do a Thunder, Blizzard, Fire, and that allows you to manipulate him into doing what you want. Unfortunately, the attack that he did following up, I got hit out of, which is a bummer. But that's okay. We're gonna do a quick retry here just to show it off. And then we're gonna go into final form, and then we're just gonna blitz him with fires. So you have to maintain a particular distance when doing final form Firaga, because not only are you hitting him with the attacks from the fire, you're also getting the swirling combination of the Keyblades hitting, which does all that extra damage on top of that. That's what allows us to shred their health bar the way that we do. Next up is Data Roxas. We got a beautiful strat here, thanks to a man named Spider. We're going to be going straight into limit form. We're going to be doing a full ground combo, one finisher. Unfortunately, Roxas didn't cooperate, that's fine. We're just going to do one finisher here as a backup. Do a full arse ground combo with just the one. That's unfortunate. I reverted too soon. It's okay. So normally, when you go into the second finisher, Roxas will be doing a swirling attack, which is what we want, which allows us to do a triple finisher, since we've got multiple finishing pluses. He's not gonna give it to us, which is okay. He's not giving it to us right now, so that's alright. If he doesn't give it to us, we have a backup. It's just trying to parry him. It's fine. We'll do one finisher again here. We're gonna do two hits into another arse. And then do another finisher. Well, hopefully. We're just gonna go into limit form here and do a swag finish. Unfortunately, no cooperation. So trying to do a backup and just unfortunately no good cooperation overall. Because even on the backup, there's a chance that he doesn't cooperate. Next up, Data Lark scene. We're gonna lead off with a reflect, fly dash reflect, and go straight into final form here. And we're gonna do Fire Agas here for a little bit. After this third one, we're gonna pop a Mega Elixir and do fires to kill her. This strat that I don't remember who came up with this variation. Doing the Mega Elixir pop causes her to auto retaliate, and with the reflect into the Fire Aga finisher setup is much faster than just blitzing her with just simply doing Fire Aga.
A challenge is
Next up is a strat, which is kind of a play on of an old 80% strat that I used to do, because I'm not comfortable with the quick release strat for this fight. We're gonna go into reflect, flash out, reflect. Oh boy. Fine. And I held that a little too long. This is fine. It's not gonna be as strong, but this is fine. Basically, we're gonna be blitzing Luxor here with a bunch of Zenitsuken until we get taken out of limit form, and then we're just gonna force them to go underground. Gonna pop a quick Mega Elixir here, and then we're just gonna do another Trinity. Do a full Trinity here, and go back into limit form once again. We're going to item buff into our next R's. And we're just going to do the same blitz that we did on the first go around. Full ground combo. Arse. Full ground combo. Arse. And there we go. Normally when I do this exactly the way I normally do it, I can end on Infinity, which is just slightly faster. But that's alright. We're gonna have our first Keyblade swap, as a matter of fact. So on critical mode, we have to take advantage of the tools that we have.
Come here, I'll make it all stop.
Because we don't do as much damage on like beginner and such. So we're gonna be doing a bunch of Reflect and Blizzard here on Data Axle. Oh, I just timed that. It's okay. It's fine. This isn't clean, but it will work. So if Axel doesn't cooperate with doing the get back right away, it makes it very interesting to have to try and deal with. Time for another Keyblade swap. This time, showing off the true power of Final Form.
You really shouldn't have betrayed us.
With honestly one of my personal favorites, Fire is Final Form, Fire Aga Juggle. But we need Zigbar first to get to a position that we are most comfortable height-wise in order for this to work. There we go. So once we stagger Zigbar, we can attack him, and then we're just going to do a bunch of air combos involving fire. After our second finisher, we're going to reset our air combo by doing a double fire down to the ground, which completely resets our air combo and allows us to just do a final form double. And that's the biggest reason that you have to have them at a certain height. Otherwise, if you're too high up on the ground, you either won't maintain them in the juggle, or you won't be touching the ground to officially reset your combo. And we're gonna be doing the same thing here with Data's album. a thing of beauty, it's a thing of destruction, it's all around a chef's kiss awesome strat. So 100 to 0, two of the hardest bosses for most people. So next up is Data Zemnis Part 1. We're gonna hopefully do a long reflect.
Defend!
Yep, we got it. Do a long reflect RSRSR combo. We're gonna do a full ground combo here.
Take this!
After we do the ground combo, we're gonna revert. Do another reflect, flat start reflect into a finisher. Unfortunately, something didn't take there on damage, and that's okay. And now we've got part 2, which is Final Zemnis, which hopefully we will be able to have some good fortune here with this. We're going to do another reflect, pop shot, reflect, finishing leap this time. Never mind, did too much damage, so we'll reset. I think we almost actually had a really good fight there. Overall, it was still a pretty solid fight. There we go. So unlike PC, we can't do dome skip, unfortunately, so we gotta deal with laser dome here. But nonetheless, that was a really good Final Zemnis fight. I unintentionally was doing the start of a big-time strat that we do in NHSN called Dancing with the Devil, which rather than get ourselves launched into the, after the reflect doing the reversal, we stay on the ground, do a quick slap shot into another reflect, and kind of continue on the combo there. Which I inadvertently did with doing the start of, but I quickly stopped that and did a bit of an adaptation, which kind of worked out for the most part. Relatively clean fight. A few oddities in there, but that's okay. After this, we only have 5 more fights left. Which 4 of the next ones you don't want to blink because they will go by in a hurry. The 2 longest fights, just because of the way that they are Data Zemnis and Data Zemnis. It really is. Alright, next up is Data Vexen. So Data Vexen, oddly enough, you cannot 0 or 100 to 0. You have to kind of manipulate a few things here, which is what we're going to do. After we go into final form, we're going to do a few Firagas. We're going to intentionally whip a few of our Firagas here to cause him to do certain attacks. We're in a bad spot here, though. Yep. We were in a really bad spot. I also did that backwards. I'm supposed to reflect, do a double reflect into a ground combo while in final form. Oops.
Let's go!
Okay, this is fine. This is not fine now. Just reset it. I'm so sorry. We got this now.
Let's go!
Alright. I did it again. Fine. So the reason you cannot 100 to 0 Vexen and you have to manipulate it one of these ways is Vexen will automatically DM. Vexen will automatically DM if you try to 0 to 100 him. Or 100 to 0 him, I should say. Thankfully, Zexion here didn't go too far, so we were able to kind of keep him in line with doing the Fire Agas while breaking Donald and Goofy out of the books. Otherwise, if you allow Zexion to kind of run around the arena, you just waste time trying to be able to get into final form. Next up, I hope y'all are ready for this. Goofy is going to be the star of this show. I'll tell you why in coming up.
Give me strength.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's fine. I goofed on something from the start. I don't know why they're here, because we're gonna show off Goofy being the hero for once. So yeah, for once, Goofy gets to be the hero in a super boss setting aside from Visa. So in final form here, we do a fire, reflect fire. After doing the sequence of 3 fires there, I preset magnet. Once we auto revert, we do a quick aerial spiral, and we're gonna go delete 4 bars of Lexius's health in a matter of seconds.
Do you feel it?
I'll explain why after the. I'll explain what happens after the run here. So we're gonna lead off with Flashback Thunder. That's not what we want.
No exit. Do you feel it? The moon's
Give
power.
me strength.
No exit.
My input didn't come out. That's okay.
Shine down.
Yeah, my input to go down to final form didn't come out, but that's also partly my fault. I normally set final form going into this.
Do you feel it? The moon's power.
So yeah, we're gonna lead off with a slide dash into
Shine down.
Thunder, followed by final form. We're gonna do a bunch of fires here. Once our MP is almost out, we're gonna do 2 more fires, a Sundaga, Mega Elixir, Thunder, Thunder.
No exit.
Okay, well,
Donald.
not exactly the way I drew it up, but we'll make it work.
If I had a heart.
I didn't do enough damage to automatically revert, which means one of my hits during my fires didn't connect, which is unfortunate. But normally what we do is, coming out of final form, we do reflect, slapshot reflect into duck flare with the finisher.
Donald.
Now we've got Data Demic, very RNG based on where the water clones go, with no worries. We're just simply going to do a bunch of Mega Flares here and just continue to replenish our MP with Mega Elixirs here. And while the Mega Flares going off, we're just going to continue to do fires. couple more. Ideally I wouldn't, but it's okay. Normally I would go, yeah, we're way ahead on here, but that's okay. This works. So we want to keep Demix as far against the wall that we can. You can't 100 to 0 Demix. You have to allow him to go into the final stage of water clone. And it's just one giant game of get rid of all his water clones one more time, which will allow us to get the kill. And the reason for us having Demix closer to the wall is it allows for the clones to not escape as far. After this last Mega Player here, we're going to go back into Final Form and do a bunch of Pyragas in order to just quickly blitz the rest of these clones and be able to end the fight. Time will be coming up here in just a moment. And that's time. So for those wondering, on the Whirly Goose strat, so what happens is because we have high tier magnet, the magnet is that big, right? Well, Alexius is somewhat of a big target, and every single time that you knock a target in and out of a magnet, you're doing additional damage. So on top of Whirligoof having already a really nice hitbox, you're quickly bouncing Lexius in and out of that magnet, which was allowing us to deplete that many bars of health in that much of a hurry. And again, as far as like Final Form fires go, you notice how the Keyblades are swirling around. So every single time that the fires are connecting during that going around, the Keyblades as they're swirling around also is what does that additional damage, which is also what allows us to melt them even faster. And as far as like the whole reflect, slapshot, reflect type stuff, that's possible because of an amazing ability called Combo Master. Without Combo Master, we wouldn't be able to sit here do. You can't see it now because we're not up against the target, but it is what allows us to do the reflect, slapshot, reflect type combo, which does even more damage at base instead of just spamming reflect. Because if you spam reflect, you wouldn't get the same damage output that you would doing that kind of combo. But yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed. I know it wasn't the cleanest at times, but we definitely got to show off some really cool stuff. Hopefully everyone enjoyed. Definitely happy to be back again this year and hope to be back for many more. I haven't been doing too many super bosses as of lately. I've been doing a bunch of rando stuff, but I have been having a bunch of plans in the works for super boss stuff. Among other stuff, but if you guys want to check me out, I'm on Twitch at IBAAllday, all the one word. And I'm still working on getting tutorial videos out, so that way if people are interested in giving it a go, I know it's a bit of a setup to try and get 3 different games set up for end game stuff, but hopefully if there are people interested, let me know, and I'll try to get those cranked out so people can be more informed. And then just in case, community in general, giving shout outs as well to the rando community, because they've been also very welcoming to the community here as of late for joining and doing stuff. Check them out. They do a lot of awesome stuff revolving around super bosses for like really low tool type situations, since they won't have the same exact tools that I have. It's pretty awesome to see what they can do. And then also check out, any of the runners in the 2FM community, Got a lot of really awesome runners there. Also, really awesome community in general. And yeah, that's it for me. And let's give it up for our next runner.